Yes, peace in the world. Now, since the end of the Second World War in 1945, we have seen that the world order has changed. It has been divided into various groups, like the NATO, SEATO, CENTO, the Russian bloc, and Chinese in between these groups, not aligning to either American bloc, but having their own ways and powers and means by which they just wanted to say in the world order. And unfortunately for India, particularly in the United Nations, where there are 5 members who have got the veto power, and unfortunately due to the wrong diplomatic action taken, India were not in the position to have that veto power in spite of the persuasion and the kind of support they had at that point of time. Now, the world has changed a lot because of certain personal egos, and we have seen since 1947, when India achieved independence, we have seen that most of the countries wanted to push India as a developing country, as a poor country, and even the political scenario prevailing at that point of time made a lot of efforts to project ourselves as one of the most important developing countries. But as such, we still remained as a underdeveloped nation, and the economy also was in a very rudimentary form. Now, with the rule in India since independence, it was ruled by the government, at the then government, where around about 60 to 65 years we ruled. We had the 5-year plans, and in spite of all these things, the international relationships between India and the other countries, a lot of things were needed to be changed. And particularly, we were the pushovers in the entire world because the dominance of the Americans and the Western European countries, and the countries which were at loggerheads, which were completely ignored, particularly India and the African countries. Everybody started to take advantage of this. And now, for the last so many years, there were wars in Saudi Arabia, there were wars in Western Asia, and the countries were divided on the ideological as well as the political imbalances. As a result of that, each country was trying to fight within against country. As far as India is concerned, we had been always having a neighbors, particularly Pakistan, who never were at a closer contact with India, and the most suspicious nation was even China also. So as a result of this, India were at loggerheads with Chinese as well as with Pakistanis. And now, likewise, American had a dominating attitude in spite of all the presidents which ruled, and they have the only motto and only aim that the world needs to be ruled by them. They are the big brothers, what we call it as a big stick policy. And as a result of that, the world order was completely controlled by them. And smaller countries, economically backward, particularly in Asia as well as East Africa and Western Africa, they remained completely, at the bottom stage. Now, with the advent of changes in the government and with the advent of new governments taking up in India, particularly in 2014, things started to change. But because you see, because of the diplomatic strength, because of the diplomatic, and because of the economic growth, because you see, a world, in a world, countries are respected only when you have the economic power. If you are having a strength of your economy, and if you are doing very well, and therefore, only the rich people are, only the rich ones, rich countries are supported and they are followed by others. So now, with the advent of economic development, we have seen that now India has come to the closest point of being the fifth largest economy in the world. Things started to change. But I feel that, you see, fighting with each other for the sake of whatever we call it as a geopolitics, where each country wants to superimpose its power, and the world would have been more developed. And all the countries, just like, a rich man is there in a colony, and if he can share his richness with others, all the 15 people of that area will be economically viable, and they will not have the, whatever we call it, the rich and the poor. The differences will never take place. But unfortunately, man, because of his greed, because of his power, because of his ego, because of his self-respect, we have seen that the world scenario, all the people who do not have any power, who have no capacity to speak up, were completely thrown out and completely at the control of the superpower. So we know that the imperialism took place before the pre-independence time. The Dutch colonies, the French colonies, the Portuguese were the first, then the European, the Western European, Britain, and all these countries plundered the wealth from the Asian as well as from the African countries. We know very well, for the sake of their own development. But unfortunately, now we are all educated. The level of education has increased all over the world, which was only 42%. Now it is around 67 to 70%. In spite of the education, in spite of the development of culture and values, whatever it is, but still, there is no compatibility between. And then, countries have been divided on the basis of religion, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and the only countries, Hinduism, prevails only in India and Nepal. But other than that, all these countries are at loggerheads with each other, trying to impose and superimpose the power. And religion, of course, has been playing a very important role, even during the feudalistic times also. But how to control it, what needs to be done, is the prevailing question. So this is not an easy task. So now the ongoing war that is taking place in Iran has completely, because for no mistake of the countries like India or whoever it is, the world is suffering because there is an economic crash down. The value of the rupee is coming down. The oil is getting completely, extinct, and the cost of the production of goods have increased. And now, just yesterday's news, we have seen that the food supply chain in Saudi Arabia as well as in United Arab Emirates has come down. There is no stockpiling. The food will last only for 10 to 1 week to 10 days. So all these things, because the humanity is the one which is suffering a lot. So and we know very well that the United Nations is a dumb. There is no action taking place by them. There is an office just for the sake of conducting an office without any purpose, without any aim. And it is also dominated politically by the Americans. Now, as a result of all these things, what is happening is the world order is completely dominated. Everyone, you see in Venezuela, the president was completely kidnapped and he was taken away. So I think world needs to keep up the changes. World needs to take up all these things, because we need a world order where there is stability, social order, where everyone will live with peace and prosperity. All the countries for that. Every religion also teaches that. We all follow the religions. We all support our religion. We all say that love, just like Sai Baba has said, love all, serve all. But that concept is not prevailing as far as the political dominance is concerned. Everybody wants to be rich. They want to be the superpower. They want to dominate others. And killing a person with a missile doesn't take time. We have seen how much amount of the world health has been lost now. Even in Saudi Arabia, in Western Asia, where every day the missiles are striking each other without any purpose. And the world order has completely changed because of this fighting between these two countries. Unless and until, we have the control over all these things, there must also be a conscience between these countries. They should all come together, sit together and discuss about it. Otherwise, I think things will go beyond our control. Now, people are thinking about what is going to happen to the hotels that are being closed now because there is the supply of gases will come down sooner or later. Already there are plans that certain hotels have been closed. There is no supply chain. So I think this doesn't augur well because it is not the mistake of an ordinary citizen. We have not told to go in for a war and all. So as a result, whoever it is, whether it is Israel or whether it is America, whoever is fighting that, ultimately it is affecting the third country. Wherever there is a war in a region, particularly in the Western Asia, where it is controlling the entire world economy because of the oil and gas. So one has to be very careful. Otherwise, things now, for example, as far as India is concerned, we have been finding out alternative resources of energy. We have been doing a lot of research on that. And I think all this wealth would have been used in a purposeful way. एक अच्छी दिशा में हम लोग ये wealth सब यूटिलाइज कर सकते थे, लेकिन हम लोग उसको पूरा नष्ट भ्रष्ट कर रहे हैं. The building which takes about more than 5 to 6 years to construct, being destroyed within one day. We are seeing the TV clipages. How much amount of destruction we are doing ourselves. Is it the right thing to do? आप ही बोलिए, just comment on yourself. Is it the right way that the things are going on across the world now? We have to think, because what is the use of education? There are a lot of engineers, there are a lot of doctors. Again, the same doctor is attending the people who have been killed in the war. What is the use of that? The prevention is better than cure. So I think we need to prevent the wars. We need to prevent differences, and better sense should prevail. Otherwise, I think I'm sure the world will come to an end very soon. Because by destroying, killing each other, it doesn't take much time. World needs peace and order. And peace and order will come only when there is a compatibility between people and people. Instead of using the wealth supplied to the wars, the wealth that is being used for waging a war, that wealth could be well utilized for the development purpose. We can develop, we can even see that the underdeveloped countries are taken care of by us. So I have developed, okay, you try to develop others. That we can do. Rather than that, even the Americans, whoever it is, whoever are the helm of affairs, they need to develop the countries not with the purpose of, getting something in return. But that is lacking here. So I think if we don't have the peace and order, if you don't have the stability, the world is going to be extinct very soon. Because the trend is always there. We have seen what has happened in First World War. We have seen whatever has happened in the Second World War. Now, indirectly, we are getting the Third World War. We have seen in the Russian-Ukraine war. I think people were thinking that the third war will take place. But now again, we have a hope. We are thinking now because of the Iranian war. Iran has directed its missiles on all these neighboring countries who are supporting the Americans and Israelis. So therefore, this doesn't augur well, and we all need to live in a peaceful and purposeful way. Science is there. for the development of humanity, to see that all kind of diseases and everything is being controlled, rather than for using for destructive purposes. This we have been discussing so many times, but we don't have the better sense prevailing on us. I hope if every individual thinks that we need to remain, we all are brothers, as our Prime Minister has said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, then I think the world will have a peaceful order. Otherwise, it doesn't take much time. So I think I need your comments on this aspect. Thank you very much.